Welcome to the Behind the Art Inspiration podcast. In these special edition episodes of Creative Lifebook interviews, I'll be meeting with co-authors of the book. There it is, the Creative Lifebook, and discussing their creative life hacks. We will also touch on how the book has become a springboard for magic for them. And in this episode, I'm connecting with creative Candice Jean, author of chapter number 14, Self-Expression is Freedom. Now, Candice, can you share with us where you're from with your beautiful accent?
Obviously, I like your accent.
Oh, thank you.
I'm from, I'm in Canberra in Australia.
Nice. And a little bit about the Creative Life Book is that we are just a bunch of creatives that have come together to co-author this book that's full of reflections on the art of living a fully expressed life. And it's written by Jessica Hughes with 65 co-authors that are wellness experts, artists, and creatives. And the foreword is by Vitale. So, Candice, tell us a little bit about your chapter.
So my chapter is talking all about self-expression and in color, basically expressing in color, and it's been such a healing part of my journey. So I mentioned in the book I haven't done art for probably 20 years. I did it all through school, and then I just didn't do it for a long time. And when I left quite a toxic relationship, I was having, again, going through different stages of grief and just healing so many parts of myself that had been silenced for so long. And I just had this urge to paint. I wasn't a big painter when I used to do art. I used to sketch a lot. And I just started expressing in color. And it has just brought so much joy into my life. Like even wearing it, I just say even wearing it has been a massive part of just how I feel in a day. And it's just fantastic. I love it. And I want to share that with everyone. And it's been a big journey to get here.
And what's great about this book is that you can literally open it to any page and read something new. And in reading through it, what you're talking about, your journey, is kind of a common theme. I've seen it a lot in many of the chapters. In Candice's chapter, I learned about Candice by clicking on her her link, because everybody has a link in the book. I learned that you are an abstract painter, and and I saw the color in your artwork. Like that was the first thing that stood out for me. Now, when you first started, getting back to the paintbrush, what colors were you drawn to? Like, do you stick with palettes sort of the same? Do you come up with new palettes each time you do a painting? What is that process?
Yeah, and I think that's what excites me the most when I start a canvas is I don't have a set palette. So I love mixing color and just seeing the different shades. I love it. Yeah, it's always different. I feel it's always different.
Mm-hmm. And you said it was part of your healing journey. So did you have to wait until you were out of your relationship, or was it something that helped you get through until it was over? Do you understand my question?
No, I definitely started after my relationship. And it's been a big a process as well. So from where I started originally, I was very precise. I used to sit at my canvas and really just take little strokes at a time. And now I'm just throwing color, like literally throwing color. And that's really been so much freedom for me in just releasing that. It's just had so much built up energy within me. and never thought that I should share it, and it literally has been my way of speaking at the moment.
And how large do you work? What's your scale? What size art do you do?
Yeah, my biggest ones at the moment are probably 1 meter by 1 meter, or just over 1 meter. And I think the bigger, the better. I prefer. It's just a bit more room to to work with. Yeah, and I do find the smaller ones challenging. I'm actually doing some smaller ones at the moment, and it's such a different way to use that energy in a smaller capacity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have to sit like at a little desk and you have to like get out your little brushes. And what I've found is that even if I'm painting small, I still get out my inch brush. Like this guy, this one is my favorite brush right here. And I don't care if I'm doing a small canvas or a big canvas. I'm still using this, my favorite one. It just got
Yeah.
back from Italy with me.
Oh, that's so
And I
great.
did my whole painting with it, all the paintings I did. So, what about you? Do
Yeah.
you use bunch of brushes, one brush? How do you work?
Yeah, I use anything and everything. I had a stick in my hand the other day, and I just went with that.
Love
Yeah,
it.
so I use a lot of yeah brushes and scrapers and palette knives, just anything.
Now, if you were talking to somebody who is possibly in the shoes that you used to wear, like in your same situation that you were in, what advice would you give to them as far as like the journey that you've been on now into peace and joy and love through painting?
I think I didn't realize that my voice mattered. That's been a really big part of this, even being published in this book. I never thought that I'd be able to do anything or that I had anything to say. And my paintings, I want to hug the wall sometimes because what's come out of me has just felt so good to release. Yeah, so I think just finding however you can to express is so helpful.
And do you have any big plans that are going to come as a result of this book? Is there anything that you're going to be offering? Have you started thinking along those lines yet?
Yes. So this book, I'm really surprised, and I honestly think it's the collective energy around this book because I'm feeling just more confident. Like I have never done anything like this before. And yeah, I feel more confident to actually put my artwork out and approach different companies and try and get some collaborations happening.
Mm.
Where I think before that I haven't felt like my work is anything that anybody would want. So I think it's been just a lot of confidence has come from this book and having something to say and wanting to share it.
Um, I'm going to open it up to you. Do you have anything that you want our audience to know about you or the experience with the book or anything?
Um, I don't think I do. I have just loved this, and I'm really loving connecting with you as well. You're probably the first one that I've connected with one on one, and like I've read everyone's chapters, and it's so great. I feel like part of this little community that I didn't have before.
Yes.
And that's really special, I think. And like you said, we're connecting from around the world, and I just feel like-minded people, and I feel the energy. It's just so uplifting.
I agree. My chapter is chapter 57, and it's the art of expressive living. So it's almost like what we're all doing. It's like, and that's another common theme. It's written in different ways, but when you boil it down, it's people that have found a way to live so that they're living from a place of joy and connection. About joy and connection and um, camaraderie, like you said, like a sisterhood kind of. So I felt it too. You're the first. I actually knew Greta beforehand, and I've connected with Jessica once, but you're the first one I've connected with also.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. And it was funny when I first read through the books, I've got my copy as well, which was really fun to receive. But when I read through the book the first time, I went back and reread your chapter a few days ago, and I realized that your chapter, I had actually written, so when I originally read it, I had written down a sentence of yours that really sat with me. And that was, I had it written down before I actually knew that I was coming on here with you.
Yeah.
And it said something along the lines of, when you embrace, every moment becomes an opportunity. And I wrote that down when I read your chapter, because I'm feeling this now.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. I love it.
And when something, I've also realized that when something like you get this idea and it feels good, you just go with it, because at the
Mhm.
end there's going to be something that's going to surprise you, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't
yeah.
know if I even introduced myself. I think I didn't, but people probably know who I am. But I'm Caroline Karp and I'm the host. And I'm filming from my Clearwater, Florida studio. Um, well, I really enjoyed getting to meet you. And where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, so you can connect on socials with me. So it's Candice Jean Art, or through my website, which is www.candicejeanart.com. And I'd love to get in touch with anyone.
And I'll put that in the show notes. Did you say you had children?
I do. I've got two beautiful children.
How old are they?
Yeah, they are 9 and 10 at the
Oh,
moment.
nice.
Yeah, I feel like I have twins a lot of the time.
I have two boys. They are 23 and 25.
Oh, wow. Yes.
They've
Close
left,
together as well.
yeah, they've left the nest and they actually are roommates. So they've stayed really good friends, which I really love.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well,
yeah.
thank you everybody for watching and listening as I share my love of fun, connection, collaboration, and art. It would be great if you subscribe by clicking the subscribe button and being a facilitator of conversation. I pose an open ended question to each artist in the true Caroline style. And usually I have them send me a one sentence blurb, but in this case, I have an entire chapter so I can read about it. It's become like this research manual for me, and I'm going to start highlighting it. Just like you pulled out one of the sentences from my chapter, I think I'm going to do that for my remaining interviews. And Candice happens to be the first in my interviews, and I'm going to try and connect with as many co-authors as I can, and then just let the conversation flow from there. But thank you so much, Candice, for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.